Familiar, you're familiar. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
Hello students, so welcome back to the part 3 video on the analysis of DC circuits. Okay, so in this video, so I am going to continue about the voltage source. So in the last video we discussed about the concept of voltage source and what are the types of voltage sources. Okay, and particularly you got the idea about what is the difference between ideal voltage source and practical voltage source, correct? Okay, now suppose in any circuit with a voltage source, okay, with a voltage source with some internal resistance and one external resistance, that is called load resistance. How to find the internal resistance in the circuit? Okay, so say a simple derivation is there here. So let us discuss the determination of internal resistance of voltage source in a circuit. Okay, now just look at the circuit diagrams. In the first circuit diagram, so you have considered a voltage source, okay, along with its internal resistance Rs, and then the two terminals A and B. Okay, so in the first diagram the two terminals are open here, so that means the load resistor RL is not yet connected here, not yet connected, so that we can measure the supply voltage as Vs itself. Okay, supply voltage or source voltage can be measured across the terminals A and B in the circuit. Whereas in the second part of the diagram, so already RL is connected. Okay, that means I have connected the load resistor to the same terminals A and B. Okay, suppose now if I measure the voltage across the terminals A and B, so what is that voltage is called? That voltage is called terminal voltage Vt. Okay, terminal voltage Vt. Now with the help of these circuits, let us try to find the internal, our aim is to find the internal resistance. Okay, Rs is the internal resistance here. What do you mean by internal resistance of a voltage source? Okay, in any voltage source, the opposition to the flow of current by the source itself internally. Okay, that is called internal resistance. Actually this resistance is there inside the battery, but we are just showing it separately, that's it here. Okay, but this is inside the supply, so that is considered as the internal resistance of the voltage source itself. Okay, so to find that value, so this is the discussion here. Okay, now let us start with the simple Kirchhoff's voltage law. So we know what is Kirchhoff's voltage law. This is the second part of circuit where we have closed circuit. Okay, so once the voltage is obtained from the source, okay, so that the current is passing through the two resistors here. One is Rs, another one is RL. Okay, the supply voltage, okay, whatever supply voltage from the source should be equal to the voltage drop across any of the resistors in the circuit. The total voltage drop you have to consider across any of the resistors in the complete loop. Okay, so that is called Kirchhoff's voltage law. Clear? Now according to that KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, the source voltage Vs is equal to, okay, so this Vs is equal to terminal voltage, okay, plus I into Rs. So this Vt is nothing but the voltage drop across the RL. Okay, and then I into Rs is the product of current into resistance, that gives actually the voltage drop across the internal resistance itself. So this sum is equal to the source voltage according to KVL. Okay, now just by rearranging the equation, I into Rs is equal to, so you can write it as Vs, you take the Vt in the left hand side, it will become Vs minus Vt, correct? Okay, then you just cross multiply again the equation for Rs. Rs is equal to Vs minus Vt, you take this I in the denominator, correct? Vs minus Vt by I. Okay, then Vs minus Vt is divided by Vt and multiplied by Vt in the next step. Okay, so that we have got the ratio as V by I. According to Ohm's law, you can substitute this V by I as a resistance here. Okay, so that is why, so in the above equation we are just multiplying by Vt and dividing by Vt. Okay, so then in the next step you take this ratio Vt by I. Okay, separate Vt by I as equal to RL, because according to Ohm's law the terminal voltage in the circuit should be equal to the current. The current is same here. Okay, in the entire circuit the current passing is I only, through Rs as well as through RL same current is passing through the circuit because the resistors are in series. Okay, so product of current into RL is equal to Vt. So therefore we can write this Vt by I. Vt by I is equal to what? RL, correct? So load resistor RL is substituted here. That's it. Now in the next step we get the internal resistance of the source. Rs is equal to, so this RL into Vs by Vt minus Vt cancels here. So it is equal to 1. Okay. So this is the way of finding the internal resistance of the source. Okay. So we need to know the total supply applied load here, load resistor, and as well as the supply voltage and the voltage drop across the load. So then only it is possible to find the internal resistance of the source in any voltage sources. Clear? Okay. Now let us discuss the concept of current source. Okay. So now you just go through the definition first, so that you will understand what exactly the source called current source. Okay. So as in case of voltage source, again we have ideal current source and practical current source. So before that, first of all, what kind of source is called current source and when it is called ideal current source. See, a source which supplies a constant current, okay, you have to note down this point, which supplies a constant current to a load even if the resistance varies, okay, is known as the constant current source. So that means, so once if you are going to draw the current from a given source, okay, it should be always constant, okay, irrespective of the variation in the load. Okay, it may be any resistance across the given source. If you connect any resistance and vary it, but always we are able to draw the same amount of current, constant current, okay, from a given source. Then only such a source is considered as constant current source. So in fact, if it is possible to get constant current source from a given source, okay, that is called actually the ideal current source also. Okay, you can call it as ideal current source. So let us see the circuit for a ideal current source first. See, in the first diagram I am just showing the symbol. So we have a symbol for a current source like this, okay, a circle with an arrow mark. Okay, that arrow mark indicates the direction of flow of current in the circuit. Okay, so instead of V, I should write it as now IS. Okay, that means the current source it is. Okay, now so the terminals A and B, so it may be open or it may be connected by a variable load resistor RL also. Okay, so suppose if it is just open, then you have to think that across the terminals A and B there will be a infinite resistance. Okay, even though there is a infinite resistance, you should be able to draw constant current from the source. Okay, low resistance, high resistance or infinite resistance, whatever it may be, you should be able to always draw constant current from the source. But you think practically it is not possible, because so in order to draw the current from a given source, there should be a load, okay, a finite load, so that we are able to find the product of current and resistance, and then you can calculate the corresponding voltage drop across the given resistor. Suppose if it is infinite resistance, so what you have to understand about the voltage drop? Okay, so it should be very high. Okay, so according to Ohm's law, V is equal to Ri, correct? So suppose if I connect R is equal to infinity, what about the voltage? Voltage also should be infinity. Okay, in order to get such a infinite drop of voltage across the infinite resistance, so we can think that the supply, the current supply, the supply source is giving a infinite amount of power. In terms of electrical power, you have to think. Okay, so that much of amount of power is going to be consumed across a infinite resistor to draw infinite amount of voltage. Clear? So that is why it is not possible to consider such sources at all, so that we can say it is a ideal current source. Okay, so instead of that, we are always having the practical current source in the laboratory or in any electrical appliances. Okay, so that what I will tell you how to consider the practical current source. So before that, try to understand what is ideal current source, okay, without any external source. Okay, so this is the symbol for ideal current source. Okay, it is always giving constant current in the circuit irrespective of the variation of the resistance. Okay, if you plot the graph voltage current characteristics, okay, as per the definition the current should be constant. Okay, so as you consider the load current, okay, across the terminal A and B, if you connect a load RL, so that the current passing through the load is considered as IL here, okay, along y axis, and along x axis you just consider whatever the load you are varying RL values. Okay, so corresponding the voltage measured across the terminals A and B is Vt. Okay, so Vt also increases as the load resistance increases, Vt also increases. But what about the current? In case of ideal current source, the current is always constant, so that is equivalent to the source current only. Okay, so in fact it is IL. Okay, IL is equal to IS itself, then only it is called ideal current source. So you can just look at the graph of the horizontal curve. Clear? Now I said it is not possible. Why? Because so it is not possible to draw the current across the open terminal of the A and B. Okay, so current has to find some path. Okay, where is the path here? If the terminals A and B are open, there is no path for the flow of current, correct? So it will find the path by itself through the source itself. Okay, so through the source itself there will be a path to flow of current. Okay, so then you have to understand that there must be a resistor inside the given source. There must be some resistance. Okay, so if there is a resistance that acts as path for the flow of current. Okay, then by assuming such a path internally inside the source, okay, then we can have the practical current source. To complete the path for the flow of current, there should be a source and there should be an internal resistance. But how it should be connected? It should not be connected in series as we connected in the voltage sources. Okay, now it should be connected in parallel with the current source. Okay, then we can assume that there will be a complete loop for the flow of current. Okay, so internally in the source. Now we look at the diagram. So in case of practical current source, so this is the loop for the flow of current. This is direction of current, you know, so indicating the direction of current. So that internally this is actually the complete source itself. Okay, current source. So internally we have a resistance that is called RS. Okay, internal resistance RS. So now the current has to obtain from the source has to pass through this internal resistance itself, RS. Okay, so after this current source, again the two terminals are there here, AB terminals, open terminals. Okay, so if you want to see the flow of current through the load, then you need to connect a load resistor here. Okay, otherwise you can assume that the terminal A and B, okay, anytime it is open to connect to any load to draw the current. Okay, but here we cannot expect the current passing through the load, okay, let us say IL is equal to IS. It is not equal to IS. Suppose if it is IL is equal to IS, what we can say? It is equal to ideal current source. Okay, in case of practical current source, it is not possible to expect that the current passing through IL will not be equal to IS, because the current obtained from the source is going to be divided into two paths here, correct? You can look at the diagram here. At this point the current divides into two directions, two paths here. This acts as a node. Okay, at this node there are two paths here. So part of the current is passing through the resistor RS, IRS, and part of the current is passing through the load resistor IRL. Okay, so in this way the current is going to be divided into two parts. So there is a drop in the current takes place. It cannot be equal to the source current. So that is why we can say in case of practical current source, the current obtained across the load, okay, I mean passing through the load, will not be equal to the source current. Okay, so then how to find that source current and what is the internal resistance of the source? So what is the dependence of the source current on both the resistors? Okay, so whether the RS value, okay, internal resistance value what you connected in parallel to the current source should be high or low, okay, to get a good current source. Clear? to get a good current source, what should be the value of RS compared to load resistor? Okay, compared to load resistance, what should be the value of RS? So we need to derive the equation for that. Okay, now let us see that part. Okay, now let us see how to get a good current source. Okay, because it is not possible to have a ideal current source. At least what is the better way to get the good current source? Now let us see the simple circuit here for that. Okay, consider a current source. As usual, we have a current source here, and then the current obtained from the current source IS is passing through the two resistors here. Okay, internally we should have a resistor called RS, internal resistance RS, and then the external resistance is the load resistor RL. Clear? Okay, now you consider the completed loop of a circuit like this with a current source. Now you look at the point M in the circuit. So where is that? Here. Okay, that point M acts as node where the current is going to be split into two branches of the circuit. Correct? So there are two branches here, through RS and through RL. So according to Kirchhoff's current law, you can apply the Kirchhoff's current law here. Correct? The input current is IS, and then the outgoing currents from the node point M, outgoing currents are considered as here like this. Through RS let it be IRS, and then through RL let it be IRL. Okay, current through RS is IRS, current through RL is IRL. So according to Kirchhoff's current law, the input current should be equal to sum of these two currents. Correct? Sum of these two currents. That is the KCL. So write down that equation. IS is equal to, input current IS is equal to IRS plus IRL. Clear? Then just rearrange the equation for IRS. You take the IRS this side, and IS minus IRL is the equation 1 for you. Clear? And then what is the voltage drop across each resistor? You see, across the resistor RS, it should be equal to the product of the current through that resistor RS and multiplied by that corresponding resistance. Okay, so through voltage drop across RS is equal to IRS into RS. Similarly, voltage drop across RL through the load resistor RL is equal to IRL into RL, because there are two separate currents here, IRS and IRL. Resistors are RS and RL, multiply corresponding resistors. So that is why in that way we get the three equations, 1, 2, 3 here. Okay, now so RS and RL, how they are connected in the circuit? They are connected in parallel, isn't it? So if they are connected in parallel, then the voltage drop across them should be constant. Okay, should be equal. Whenever the number of resistors connected in parallel, voltage drop is expected to be same irrespective of the resistance values. Clear? So with that condition, we can consider these two equations are equal. So IRS into RS is equal to IRL into RL. Voltage drops are equal from equation 2 and 3. Now, okay, you can just substitute now IRS, because from equation 1 we have IRS equation as IS minus IRL. Correct? So substitute that as here, IS minus IRL multiplied by this RS. Okay, then IRL into RL in the right hand side. Okay, now in the next step you take the IRL as common. See, here we have IRL and here we have IRL. Okay, so take that IRL common, left with RS plus RL, because this is minus sign. So when you take it in the right hand side, it will become plus here. So RS plus RL into IRL is a common factor. Then IS into RS is right hand side. Clear? So in this equation, it is required to obtain the expression for current through the load here. Okay, so by cross multiplication, IRL is equal to what now? So IS into RS. Okay, IS divided by, you take this in the denominator, RS plus RL to this IS. Okay, IS divided by RS plus RL and into RS as it is. Okay, simple step here to consider. Then divide by RS. That's it. In the next step, IRL is equal to, okay, so divide this RL, numerator and denominator, you will get IS in numerator. So divide by RS by RS is equal to 1. RS by RS is equal to 1 plus RL by RS. Okay, so this is separate ratio you will get in the equation. Okay, so IRL, you have to remember the equation for current through the load resistor RL is depending upon now the ratio RL by RS. Basically depends upon the ratio of the two resistors. Okay, and Is is the current obtained from the source. Okay, so to say the current source is a good ideal source, okay, good source in fact, not ideal source actually. Okay, ideal source means what? IRL should be equal to Is, exactly, but that is not possible, I said. Okay, with the help of, by adjusting the values of RL and RS only, it is possible to improve the type of given source voltage, okay, I mean current source. How it is possible? Just look at the ratio RL by RS. Okay, so if RL should be if RL is approximately equal to Is, okay, so this is possible provided RL by RS is small. It should be as small as possible. Compared to 1, it should be as small as possible. Okay, so that you can neglect this part. Okay, I mean ratio RL by RS. Okay, then you will get only IRL is equal to Is approximately. If they are approximately equal, at least we can say the given source is better source. Okay, so for that the ratio RL by RS, when it is going to become very small? When the denominator is very high, correct? So therefore you see RS should be very much greater than the load resistor. So the internal resistance RS should be greater compared to the load resistor in this case. Okay, so is the condition for better practical current source. So you have to understand that here you have to consider the internal resistance should be very much greater than the external resistance for better current source, better practical current source, you can say. Okay, so the last, you look at the diagram. So IV characteristics of practical current source. So in case of practical current source, how the load current varies. So in case of ideal current source, so Is, it is IL is equal to Is, so like a dotted line, you will get constant horizontal line. So irrespective of the load resistor, so it is always equal to Is only. But practically it is not possible, I said. So as you increase the load resistance along x-axis, okay, so the corresponding IL is decreasing. Okay, so it is mentioned as IV characteristics. So this is nothing but load resistance is increasing and corresponding voltage also increasing here. Voltage drop across the resistance also increases as the load increases. Okay, that is why it is called IV characteristics. So now look at this line, it is not constant, it is decreasing here. Okay, but not that much decreasing, slightly decreasing. Okay, so compared to the expected ideal current source, so it is nearly, okay, so as this line nearer to this line, so it is considered as better current source. Okay, practical current source. So if it is decreasing so much like this, then it is not at all a good current source. Okay, so the line should be as much as possible near to this horizontal line, but it is not possible to nearest horizontal line, at least nearest to this horizontal line, then we can say it is a better practical current source. Okay, so only you can understand in this way how the current sources can be used in the various electrical applications. Okay, we need to get the constant as much as possible, at least constant current from the given source. Okay, such sources are called current sources, practical current sources. Okay, so then we'll continue in the next video.